being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Many people grow up believing that kindness means always agreeing, always helping, always being available. They believe that saying no is rude. They believe it will disappoint others. They believe people will stop liking them. So they say yes even when they are tired, even when they are overwhelmed, even when they have nothing left to give. At first, this feels like generosity. It feels like being useful. It feels like being needed. But over time, kindness slowly turns into pressure. Helping turns into an obligation. And the person who gives the most often feels the most invisible. This is not because they are weak. It is because they have never learned one simple truth. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself and for others is to say no. Daniel was known as a reliable man. At work, people trusted him. At home, people depended on him. Among his friends, he was the one who always showed up. If someone needed help, Daniel agreed. If someone needed time, Daniel gave it. If someone needed support, Daniel listened. For a long time, this made him feel valuable. It made him feel important. It made him feel needed. But slowly, it began to cost him more than he realized. Daniel worked full-time in a busy office. His days were filled with meetings, emails, deadlines, and requests. When a coworker asked for help, Daniel said yes, even if his own work was unfinished. When someone asked him to stay late, he agreed even when his body was exhausted. He believed that being dependable meant never refusing. At home, his phone never rested. A friend needed advice. A family member needed a favor. Someone always needed something. Daniel answered every message. He told himself this was what a good man did. He told himself that rest could wait. But rest never came. Daniel stopped exercising. He stopped reading before bed. The quiet moments he once enjoyed disappeared. At night, he lay awake, tired but restless. His body wanted sleep, but his mind refused to slow down. He replayed conversations in his head. He worried about disappointing people. He worried about falling behind. Sometimes he wondered, why do I feel empty when I give so much? But he never said it out loud. One morning, Daniel arrived at work earlier than usual. The office was silent. He sat at his desk and looked at his calendar. Every day was full. Meetings, deadlines, requests. There was no space. Not even a small space for himself. For the first time, he felt something close to panic. That was the moment something inside him shifted. Later that day, Daniel met an older colleague named Michael. Michael was calm. He never seemed rushed. He spoke slowly and listened carefully. Think. Daniel mentioned how busy he felt. He laughed while saying it, but his eyes looked tired. Michael listened without interrupting. Then he asked a simple question. Do you choose all these responsibilities? He said. Or do they choose you? Daniel did not answer. The question stayed with him long after the conversation ended. That evening, Daniel thought about it again. He realized something uncomfortable. Most of the time, he did not choose. He reacted. He said yes automatically. He agreed before checking how he felt. He believed that saying no would disappoint people. And disappointing people felt dangerous. Somewhere along the way, he had learned that approval mattered more than peace. The next day, a small moment tested him. A coworker asked Daniel to help with a project. Daniel already had too much work. The familiar word was ready on his tongue. Yes. But this time, he paused. His heart beat faster. His hands felt tense. And then he said, "I'm sorry. I can't take this on right now." The silence felt heavy. Then something unexpected happened. The coworker nodded. "Okay," they said. "I understand." That was all. No anger. No disappointment. No drama. Daniel felt something new. Relief. Over the next few weeks, Daniel began paying attention to his feelings. He noticed that every automatic yes created tension in his body. His shoulders tightened. His breath became shallow. And every honest no created space. Space to breathe. Space to think. Space to rest. Saying no still felt uncomfortable. Guilt appeared quickly. But the guilt did not last as long as he feared. Daniel slowly changed how he responded. When he truly wanted to help, he said yes. When he felt overwhelmed, he said no. Some people stopped asking as often. Some respected him more. A few were surprised. But Daniel felt calmer. For the first time in years, his life felt balanced instead of rushed. One evening, Daniel decided to walk home instead of taking the bus. The air was cool. The street was quiet. As he walked, he realized something important. People had not been taking advantage of him. He had been offering too much without limits. He had confused generosity with self-sacrifice. Daniel slowly returned to himself. He began exercising again, even if it was only a short walk. He read before bed instead of checking his phone. He allowed himself moments of silence. When someone asked for his time, he listened to himself first. Not selfishly, honestly. One weekend, Daniel visited his parents. They sat together in the living room, talking quietly. His father looked at him and smiled. "You seem lighter," he said. Daniel nodded. "I learned something," Daniel replied. "What did you learn?" his father asked. Daniel thought for a moment. "Saying no doesn't make me a bad person," he said. "It helps me be a better person." His father nodded slowly. Daniel began to understand that boundaries are not walls. They are guides. They show people how to treat you, and they show you how to treat yourself. Without boundaries, kindness becomes exhaustion. With boundaries, kindness becomes sustainable. Months passed. Daniel was still kind, still helpful, still dependable. But he was no longer exhausted. He understood now. Saying no was not rejection. It was direction. It was a way of choosing what truly mattered. And in choosing himself, Daniel found something he had lost for a long time: peace. Closing reflection. Being kind does not mean losing yourself. Helping others does not mean hurting yourself. When you respect your time, energy, and limits, you teach others to do the same. Sometimes, the quiet strength of saying no is what allows you to live fully.